Welcome to the Lancashire Lad podcast. This week's episode is sponsored by
Morecambe Music Festival 2021.
Welcome to the Lancashire Lad podcast. Today I'm super excited because this is the first live interview in person without the aid of Zoom. And I'm delighted to say we are joined by one of the finest radio DJs this area has ever seen. It is Mr. Danny Matthews.
Unheard?
Unheard, yes. How are you, my friend?
I'm fine. That was very kind. Thank you very much.
Well, it's only true, isn't it?
I don't know. I can't say that, can I?
You can. Just blow your own trumpet.
All right.
Danny, it's been a crazy couple of years because you were the start of so many people's mornings. I mean, I don't think you probably realise that everyone woke up with Danny Matthews.
Don't tell me, Mum.
So, where have you been? What have you been doing?
Well, it's weird, really, because when I left, which was like, getting on for 2 years ago, I started my own business. So basically, I was like, well, I'm still available, even if I'm not on the radio. DJing and MCing and stuff.
Yeah.
And then as that was just about getting going, we had COVID. So I've been on kind of a disappearing act for 2 years. So not a lot of people have seen and heard from me, but I've enjoyed it. In that time, I've had 2 new dogs.
Right, okay.
So they've been like lockdown dogs.
Yeah.
So usually you never see your dog, do you? Take it out for a walk and go to work or whatever. I've been with them all the time. So I've mainly been like...
dog bonding.
Dog bonding. That's what I've been doing, yeah.
Fantastic. Like I said, I don't think you probably realise how it actually was around here with the Bay Radio, because literally... It didn't feel right unless you listened to Danny Matthews on the way to work, or you weren't getting up, and it was, even if you were in the background, you know what I mean, that voice was, it's so recognisable. I remember when you first started and I was like, who the hell's this? And because it was just like in your face radio. Do you get what I mean with that, with your style?
Yeah, I kind of do, because I used to get, if I used to be off for a couple of days or a week, I used to get people say, where were you? I went, I had a day off. Why? What were you? I'm like, it's holiday. Don't you have holiday?
You're not allowed.
Yeah, and I thought, actually people notice. So sometimes you don't realise, because radio's like you're stuck in a box talking to yourself, which is weird. It's the weirdest job in the world. And to get it in your mindset that there are actually, thousands of people out listening to you. But once you get into it, it was just amazing. And I've been doing it a long time, but the Bay was definitely like the highlight of my career. It was like just so enjoyable and such fun every day.
You could tell that, we'll touch on the Bay right now, actually. So the Bay Radio, I've had the pleasure of working with you, the Bay Radio, the team, Bill Johnson and all his team. And I have to say, in all my life, it's probably one of the teams that looks so happy and tight together. You all had each other's backs. The harmony in there looked perfect. There was no ego clashes. What do you think the secret to that was, or why do you think that came about?
I think it was a lot down to Bill, the boss. It was the Bay team.
Yeah.
And, even when we went to award shows and stuff, even if it was me up for an award or presenter, the whole team would go, because, even if you're doing a radio show, you need the sales team to sell the advertising so we get paid. You need the program manager to keep me in, check, make sure I'm doing what I'm told. The cleaners we always loved. The cleaners came in every morning. I always got a link out the cleaners. They were fab. So the cleaner would come in, stroke the dog, have a chat about what you do, and I'd say, mention that next. That's great. Thanks for that.
Of course, you used to take your dogs to work with you, didn't you?
2 dogs were, Winston and Lulu at the time, and they became the stars of the show, really, because I even went to a photo shoot, and they said, right, Danny, don't forget, if you get any air gel, make sure you got 2 shirts, 2 trousers, and of course the dog. No, excuse me. They went, no, we want the dogs in the photo. So they actually photo.
Yeah.
And actually, we did a promotion once in Hawkshead, and I thought I'd got booked to do it, and it was the dogs. Winston and Lulu were trying out doggy tea. And at this shop in Hawkshead, they started selling doggy products.
So it's filmed from your waist upwards?
Yeah. I mean, no, but what made me laugh, even the invoice and the payment was to them.
Right, okay.
So I could cash the cheque.
Oh, no, do you know something? I'd forgot about that. They were. I mean, I remember coming in for interviews and I had to ask one of them to get off the chair so I could sit down, you know what I mean?
It was like, this is my chair.
It was fantastic. I mean, I think one of the things round this area is people really do miss the Bay, the Bay Radio. It was such... it was such a massive part of the community. And I think it's only in times of strife where you realise how valuable radio is. So, for example, the floods that happened, you know, you really came to the fore with that. Tell us a bit more about what happened in that time.
That was strange, the floods, because I'd just moved to Grange over Sands, and the night before been out in Manchester at my mum's.
Right.
So for some reason I'd got home on a train to Grange over Sands and left my car at my mum's. So I thought, right, I'm going to go get my car. And I got up that morning, a little bit of a hangover, went to the train station at Grange, and everybody's like running about and stuff. And I'm going, I'll get on the next train to Manchester. And they go, oh, it'll be the last one. I said, why? He said, have you not heard about the weather? I said, yeah, it's a bit windy. Anyway, when we went over the viaduct, you know, Grange over to... the train was like this.
Right, okay.
So I got to Manchester, got the car, and I thought, I better check it. On the way back to Grange, I thought, I'll just bob in the bay. And they said, oh, this flood alert's gone to red. And normally on a Saturday night, bit of an inside secret here, I used to record a show on a Saturday night. I couldn't do 7 days a week, could I? There was an 80s and 90s show.
A load of housewives' hearts there.
So this Saturday night show, which you've recorded, I said, I'll tell you what, I'll do it live.
Right.
And that was about 5 o'clock. And as the evening progressed, it was like, whoa. And it just went bonkers. And, you know, Prime Minister David Cameron at the time doing a big news flash. And
you were stuck in there for a while, weren't you?
It was 27 hours. Because as I was talking, the power kept on going off.
Right.
So the emergency power came out, and then Robbie and the engineer said the power's going to go off.
Yeah.
It's going off all over Lancaster. So it went off. So I thought, well, I can't really go anywhere because, you know, everywhere's flooded. So we stayed in, me and Peter, the news editor, were there, the only two people there. And so I'm just going to pop downstairs because I'm upstairs in the office. So I said, just go and pop downstairs to the loo. And when I popped downstairs to the loo, the water was 3 foot high.
Right. Oh, God.
And then what was even worse, of course, everything's electric, so the doors, when they shut, were electric. So I got stuck in reception for an hour as the water's rising.
Did it scare you?
It did a bit.
Did you think, if this keeps going up...
It was strange, because you think, all right, a bit of water.
Yeah.
But it literally was up to my ankles.
And it was salt water as well, wasn't it?
Well, the flood in Lancaster, most of it was coming up through the sewages.
Oh, right. Yeah.
So it stank.
Right.
So my show really stank that night.
But you did like literally with the loss of electric and a lot of things, you were like the torch in the darkness at that radio station because you literally linked everyone together that didn't know what was going on. Do you remember that?
It was weird because when we got the power back in the morning about 8 o'clock, in fact, Bill had walked in from Carnforth, I think. Somebody else had walked in. I'm sure people were walking in from all over the place. And he said, how do we get an air? How do we get an air? And Robin said, we need a generator. He said, well, go and get one. Go and get one.
It's some flippers.
So somehow we managed to get this generator to get an air even before the electric came back. And it just went on from then, from the Saturday night to the Sunday morning. And I think I went home on the Sunday night.
Yeah.
But it was all a bit of a blur. And we were just reading out information, but people were just amazing.
Yeah.
But because when we got the phones on, people were ringing in. I remember once there was a phone call, some guy said, look, I'm stuck in my house somewhere. I'm on medication. I think he was some kind of mechanical medical equipment. Yeah. And he said, I've got no power, and I'm basically something's going to go on. And we managed to get some stuff to him, and there's 100 stories like that. And it's, you know, I was just reading it out, but it was the people. I felt guilty because I wasn't really doing anything.
Yeah, but without you, you know, it doesn't matter if you're reading it out or not. Without you, these things wouldn't have happened. And I'm sure I speak on behalf of everyone around the area that moment in the town's history and stuff. We're very thankful for what you did, as well as the Bay Radio. So, listen.
I did get a free drink out of it a few times.
Just a free drink. All right. Well, we're filming in the Palatine today, so I wonder if Brew will... Nah, it's Brew. Anyway, let's go back to... How did you get into radio? Was it something that was natural? Was it something that happened by mistake? Or was it something that you always planned to do?
No, it's my mum wanted me to get out of the house. It was. I used to play DJ in my bedroom.
Right, okay.
This is when I was like 12, 13, 14.
Yeah.
And my mum, I didn't know, had written into the local radio station in Manchester. Very big radio station called Piccadilly Radio.
Oh, right, okay.
Which was the biggest radio station outside London. And they were setting up a Saturday morning show where they needed a load of kids to come in and chat about records and stuff. And I got a reply saying, right, come in tomorrow. and it just led on from there.
Yeah.
You know, most people went in, did a few weeks on the show. I stayed for 12 and a half years. So, and the first person I worked with was Chris Evans.
Right, okay.
I used to answer his phones.
So how was Chris with you? Did he look after you? Was he nice?
Oh, he was amazing. He was only 21 at the time himself.
I mean, what a person to learn off.
Exactly.
And were you like a sponge and just sat and just...
He was a producer and a presenter himself. He was kind of just starting as well in a few years, but you could tell, gosh, he's got something.
Yeah.
You know, he's got... And the reason he left was he had a big argument. He said something on air. He said something on air that the boss didn't like and told him to do one. I'm going to London to be a star. And everybody laughed and... Look what happened.
Yeah, it's funny how things have a way of working themselves out.
He still owes me 15p from the coffee machine. We used to have to pay for coffee in them days.
Oh, right. I thought you were going to say 15 grand then.
Not 15. Oh, he didn't have any money. He used to drive an orange Skoda, clapped out Skoda. He used to live in at his mum's in Warrington. But no, I've always thought he's great. He's a really decent guy.
Fantastic. So, throughout your radio career then, have you always felt... You strike me as someone who flies by the seat of the pants a lot on radio. Like, there's no real plan. You just get in that chair and go, da-da! Is that really how it works?
That's true. Not a lot of people say that, actually, because...
I picked up on it a few times.
Well, you've been there, haven't you, quite a lot when I've been doing it.
Yeah.
Because a lot of people go, oh, that thing you said the other day, you know, when did you write that? Who gave you that idea? And I forget what I've said. And I'm like, well, oh, right, no. Because I used to just go in. And I used to think, no, I need to be more prepared. I used to start going in an hour and a half before the show. Yeah. And I'd just read the papers and stuff and I'd go, this isn't working. Yeah. So I used to turn up at the last second. Yeah. I was famous for it. You know, I'd be turning up, the newsreader would be reading the news, coming to the end of the news, and I'd just turn up with the dogs.
I bet Bill loved you for that, didn't he? I bet Bill was patrolling that staircase.
The thing about Bill, I think the thing with Bill, however you worked, as long as it worked, he wasn't bothered. Yeah,
you know, he'd give you a licence to be who you were and whatever worked for you.
If you told me to come in and have a big meeting about this, and we're going to say this, and we're going to do that then, and we're going to do that. I mean, of course, you need to know if there's something specific, like a competition or something. Yeah. You need to know what you're saying. Yeah. But most of it, all the things that people seem to remember, I'll go, I just said it.
Yeah. Oh, absolutely fantastic. So tell us about some of the guests you interviewed and the highlights and your favourites. The people that you thought, what a bloody nice person. Drop some names, Danny.
They were all great, I think. I mean, I was lucky. I used to also do the Solid Gold Sunday show, which was the oldies show. So every week we used to interview a golden oldie star. It could be the Searchers from the 60s. But we got some great guests. I interviewed Rod Stewart.
Wow.
Which was great. He was doing a gig in Carlisle, so we were sponsoring the gig. And I didn't know at the time when I was interviewing. It took about 15 attempts because some telephone exchange plugged you through to the record company who sent you through to his house in Los Angeles. And you'd be waiting on the phone for 4 hours and then, he can't do it today. And it wasn't his fault, though. It was all the other people around him. Yeah. So when we finally got through... one of the questions I asked him, and I don't know why I asked him it, was, come on, we've got Sir Elton, we've got Sir Paul McCartney, why isn't it Sir Rod? You know, and there was a big pause and he laughed and he said, oh, I don't want that, you know. And I didn't know at the time that he knew he was going to be knighted.
Right.
So I always remember in the interview that was very odd, but
and he said he didn't want it.
He said, no. I said, come on, you need to get one over on your mate Elton. He went, all right, I'll do it for you, Danny, you know, I'll try it. And of course, months later it was announced. Yeah. But he was great. We had a bit of kerfuffle with Brian May from Queen. Now, we were interviewing him...
I like that word.
A kerfuffle. We were interviewing him because he'd got together with one of the girls who was the big stars from We Will Rock You.
Right, okay.
And she's a great singer and he's done a couple of albums with her. And the newsreader, Peter Story, the head of news, is a massive Queen fan. And he said, do you mind if I come in when you're interviewing him? So I said, yeah, you can sit down and listen to it, yeah, whatever. Anyway, he didn't come in. I started the interview. Towards the end of the interview, he storms in the studio, goes, I want to speak to Brian, And I'm going, oh, okay, Pete, speak to Brian. And Brian May didn't know what was going on. I loved it. And he started asking questions about Freddie Mercury and all sorts. And Brian was lovely answering it. Anyway, later I got the biggest...
Yeah. What, did he kick off about it?
People behind the scenes kicked off, should we say.
Right. Because it's like dropping something on... Because on radio, you can't see what's going on, can you?
Well, we've just been talking about badges as well, so it completely killed the mood, you know. Right, because he loves his badges.
Yeah. So from badges to Freddie.
And there's lots of stories, I mean, from from Manchester, when I used to produce shows and stuff, I remember...
Yeah.
It was weird. We had Michael Crawford in one day, in person in the studio. Lovely, you know, so Michael Crawford, great.
He looks that way as well. You know, when
Lovely.
you see him, you
He
think,
phoned from his limousine later to say what a wonderful interview it was, which was great. But the next day we were due to interview Jane Mcdonald.
Right.
And we got a phone call from Jane Mcdonald's hotel room. Now, this was in Manchester. Jane McDonald was in a hotel in Manchester. About 5 minutes walk.
Yeah.
Can we do the interview from on the phone? You know, I don't feel like getting out of bed today. So
That's
we
what
went.
she said, or
Yeah,
you?
well, somebody said that, so we say. I won't say it's you, Jane, but somebody said it. And we said, well, Michael Crawford got out of his bed yesterday and managed to walk down to the studio, so we think you should, you know.
So you put your foot down?
Well, probably. I said, no. We said, should we? No, absolutely not. We had Lulu in one day.
Yeah.
You know, all these stars. So we said, no, come down. She went, well, I'm not coming down. They said, well, you're not getting the interview, love. So
Right.
you've got to put your foot down.
No, fair play to you for holding it down, because you've got to value. You know, it's a bit of a lack of respect for whoever's doing the interview. If someone has that mood.
Well, this was a long time ago. Shall we say she wasn't even as famous as she is now? Right. I'm sure she's a lovely person.
Yeah.
Maybe.
I love this side of Danny. I love this side of Danny Matthews. It's brilliant. It is. It's brilliant. I think you're man-made for a TV show.
Really?
Yeah, I do. I think.
I did got Nick Margerison, who used to be on the Bay, did a community TV in Manchester and asked me to go down.
Right.
And I completely forgot we were doing it, and I got drunk before we were down, so I've actually been drunk on TV.
Oh, fair enough.
There is a tape of it somewhere. We're talking about aliens, so it didn't matter.
Was there, so apart from Jane Mcdonald, was it Jane McDonald? Yeah, I wish it was vodka. Is it Jane McDonald? Apart from who, have you dealt with someone who was, as you're interviewing them, you're thinking in your head, you're an idiot, you're rude, or you know.
Do you know what normally I find is the bigger the star, the nicer they are. Yeah. It's normally the people that think they're something that they're not. Yeah. Yeah. That you have trouble with sometimes.
A bit like Darren Milby. I love you, Darren. I'm only joking.
I'd love to be called in between.
Yeah.
I'm trying to think. I think I've just been lucky. I'm always nice to people. I don't believe in getting somebody for an interview then going at them.
Yeah.
But you do want to find out stuff.
Yeah.
And I do push it sometimes.
Yeah, but that's what. Do you know something? That is what listeners love.
I hate Piers,
more than anything.
I hate Piers Morgan, but he does a great interview.
Yeah.
You know, his life stories, he's
Don't
great.
walk off, will you?
I might.
But no, what I'm trying to say is, the one thing I've sort of discovered over the last couple of months since I've been researching a lot of podcasting and interview styles and whatnot, is that listeners or followers don't really want that person to sit on the fence and treat the person they're interviewing with too much respect, where they don't dig a little bit.
Yeah,
so
obviously. You're not going to get answers then, are you?
Yeah, I've seen a lot of people get criticised for being too nice, and I think sometimes
you can be.
Yeah, but I think you have that style in you where you can twist the knife a little bit and go after.
Hopefully,
yeah.
You from an interview, you perhaps want somebody to say something that's juicy, or you want somebody to say something that even they didn't know they were going to tell you.
Yeah,
you know what I mean. So,
no, absolutely. Right, so. What's the highlight of your career so far? What would you say is the part where you were like, wow, I am absolutely over the moon with that today? What do you think is the standout?
I think it was winning the best local breakfast show at the Commercial Radio Awards in London.
Okay. Because
that's something that the Bay seem to be nominated nearly every year. Best station, they've won. The sales team have won it loads of times.
Yeah.
And we went down. You get to find out you're nominated a few weeks before, and I'm always off. I always booked May off around Easter or something, and I found out at home, and I was like, "You're joking!" I got all these texts. I've been nominated for a best breakfast show, and this is not just around here; it's the whole country. You know, you've got like 1,000 radio stations going for it. So in London. Again, I was there thinking, we're not going to win, so it doesn't matter. My
Did
award
you have a speech prepared just in case?
No, I said, there's no way I'm going to win.
Yeah.
So I'm just going to enjoy the night, have a few drinks. So, of course, when my name was announced, this is like 7 hours into the awards, awards ceremonies.
Yeah.
And they had to basically... Get up, go and go out on the stage.
Yeah.
And there was people from Sky News and everything, and apparently I got best speech of the night from somebody who was reviewing it, I don't remember the speech
It doesn't
much.
surprise me.
But I got a lot of ooh, because I actually said, and there's a lot of, am I allowed to swear on?
You can swear.
I said there are a lot of dickheads in this room that I used to work for as well. I said something like that, and I got a big woo from everybody like this.
Yeah,
and then
yeah.
a lot of people from me, like, well done for saying that.
Yeah,
Because in radio, as in a lot of entertainment business, there are a lot of nasty people as well.
Yeah, absolutely. I think entertainment in general there's a lot. It's a weird business.
It's a weird business.
Yeah, it is.
Sometimes you've got to be in the in team.
Yeah.
Or something.
No,
it's weird, but that was great.
Yeah.
And also from Storm Desmond, there was a load. We got a load of accolades. Morecambe Food Bank invited me down. I didn't know they gave me a little award and stuff. I thought, why are you giving me an award? It should be the other way around. And I went to a Buckingham Palace garden party and.
Oh, that was
amazing. That was with Robin, the engineer.
Was it?
We got nominated to go down.
Danny Matthews at Buckingham
It was
Palace.
weird. I nearly walked the wrong way because when you go through... And the other thing, there's a queue of about 4,000 people waiting to get into Buckingham Palace.
Yeah.
And you've got to take your passport as proof and stuff.
Yeah.
Thought I'd lost that, panicking. Then I lost Robin in the queue, so there's me on my own in a queue. Got like Lord Farquhar in front of me and somebody else behind me. I'm not even wearing a dinner jacket because nobody told me.
Yeah.
And you walk through Buckingham Palace. You see it on this... From the front, you walk through, go into the courtyard, go through the other side. I started drifting off to one of the things.
I take it everything's free there.
Oh, yeah.
There's no till.
Oh, no. And it was very funny because the Duke of Edinburgh and the Queen were in front of us, chatting to people. She's not allowed to chat unless you've been told you can chat with him,
Yeah.
So, and then the Duke of Edinburgh goes, I want a cup of tea. So he walks off to have a cup of tea in the thing. So I tried to follow him because I couldn't get in the queue, but it didn't work.
I think you and Philip would get on like the house on fire, if I'm honest.
We would. Bless him.
Yeah.
He's doing well.
Right. All I want to ask you is, what's the future have in store for Danny Matthews? What are you wanting to do? Are you wanting to return to local radio in this area?
Yeah, I mean, I could have just moved back to Manchester, really, because this is like my adopted home now. I've lived here like 10 years now. So I feel that this is where I belong now. So there is a radio station that's coming up. People may have read about it in the news a couple of years ago, where a company's won the licence to broadcast in the same Bay Area, exactly the same area.
Okay.
And it's going to be the first DAB station, official DAB station for the
So
area.
is that classed as a DAB radio?
Yeah, it'll be DAB.
What is DAB radio? Do you know? Because I
don't really know. I'm going to try and explain it. Basically, if you switch DAB on in your car and you're ready, you get a band.
Right,
and on that band, you get, I think it's 10 or 11 or 12 stations. So whoever wins the licence, who's won this licence to broadcast, they have the band. So they have to put so many radio stations on. So they'll put stations that are already on, like Heart and Smooth, but they must put a few local stations on. So I think some of the community stations may be on there. And there's going to be room for a brand new station.
Right.
So that is going to be based... I think it's based in DAB.
There's a bit of an exclusive there.
Yeah.
There could be a way back in for... Ooh, we won't say anything else because we don't want to build people's hopes up.
No.
And obviously, we don't want to put anyone's name in jeopardy or anything like that.
Absolutely not. Well, that what I've just said has been in the news, so we won't get told off for that.
Okay.
But yeah. I have kind of been approached, I can say that, but I've not heard much back, so...
Well, I'm sure I speak on behalf of the viewers and obviously myself when we say it would be lovely to have your voice back on that modern radio around here. I don't think you realise really how much of a part of everyone's life you were around here. A lot of people listen to your show, and even if you were in a bad mood, you had a way of pulling people out of that, and yeah, let's hope this comes to fruition and we see you back on the radio. Right, Danny, the final thing I want to do with you is my famous, of course, Bernard Pivot questions that was made famous by James Lipton on the Inside the Actors Studio.
Oh, yeah.
So you take a nice swig of your water because these are going to come fast and furious at you.
All right. I might need more than water for this thing.
Red Bull. Gives you wings.
Oh, you get advertising.
Okay,
now.
so what is your favourite word?
Favourite word is... Do you know the word that I use the most is piglets?
Piglets?
Yeah. I call my dogs the piglets.
Right.
I call my nieces the piglets.
Right.
If I like somebody, I'll go, oh, you little piglet. So that's a weird answer,
Term
isn't
of
it?
endearment.
Term of endearment is, Stuart, you're my little piglet. It is, I don't know why.
What is your least favourite word?
Probably no.
Great answer. What turns you on?
Probably, what really, actually did that was, as we've been talking about, being on the radio. And basically because it wasn't, oh, I'm on the radio. It was, if somebody would come up to you and go, oh, you made me day, you told me about a traffic jam and it got me to work quicker, or you made me laugh, or you played my favourite song. That was just amazing.
Fantastic. What a great answer. What turns you off?
Unfairness. If you've been treated unfairly or people think something that's not true and they believe somebody else, it's unfairness. I don't like things that are not right. What
sound do you love?
What sound do I love? Probably the click of a radio turning on.
What sound do you hate?
Honking your horn in your car when you don't need to.
Honking your horn?
You honking your horn.
Honking your horn when you don't need to?
Yeah, other
Fair
people.
Enough. What profession other than a radio DJ would you like to attempt?
When I was a kid, I always wanted to be either a zookeeper or a bus driver.
I can imagine you with your big net.
I wonder what you're going to say then. Which is funny because one of my former colleagues I used to work with, who used to be a presenter, is now a bus driver.
Oh, fantastic.
And a very good one. I'm quite jealous of him, seriously.
A bus driver, who'd have thought that?
I couldn't have been a zookeeper because I'm allergic to animals, though, everything. I'm even allergic to dogs. And I've got 3.
You poor little piglet.
And a poor little piglet. They don't molt, though. They don't molt.
And what profession would you not like to attempt?
Not like to attempt? Oh, something where I was stuck in an office, sales. People said, oh, if you're not on the radio, why don't you do stuff? I couldn't lie to people. I couldn't sell something. Oh, this is amazing, buy this.
Yeah.
I'd be like, it's crap, don't buy it.
Fair
that job where you're stuck.
And finally, if heaven exists, as you arrived at the pearly gates, what would you like to hear God say to you?
I didn't expect you for a bit longer.
Fair enough. What are you doing here?
What are you doing here?
Listen, Danny, thank you so much for giving me your time. I've known you a couple of years now. Well, maybe 10 years, actually.
Long time.
It's a long time, not a couple of years.
We've worked a lot together.
I love working with you. I hope to see you back on stage, hosting carnivals and events. Can't wait to hear you back on the radio. I wish you all the best for the future.
Oh, thank you.
And I'm sure I speak on behalf of everyone in the local area when we wish you all the best. And good luck in your future endeavours.
Thank you. Well, thank you for inviting me. It's been good fun.
Brilliant.
It's got me out of the house for a bit anyway.
Brilliant. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you for tuning in to another episode of the Lancashire Lad podcast. Please subscribe and follow our progress, and we'll see you all very soon with our next episode. For more exciting content, please click subscribe. And if you want to keep in the loop with all our latest material, then click the bell.